At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a Tropical Weather Update.
Fred Gossett here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center on this Friday, October 3rd, 2025. With the afternoon edition of your Tropical Weather Update, we do have a couple of areas in the Atlantic Basin that we're watching. Now, you see a couple areas off into the eastern Pacific highlighted for tropical development. You know, unless there's a system headed toward the United States, we don't focus on the eastern Pacific in these updates. If we do have a system that looks to make a direct impact on the U.S., we do start to shift focus over there. But this will be just on the Atlantic Basin today. We are watching a couple areas. First off, the one of real note is the tropical wave that will be coming off the coast of Africa and moving out to the central Atlantic. National Hurricane Center increasing the odds of development with this system up to 50%. But it may take a few days to do that. These tropical waves rolling off the coast of Africa once you get into October usually see slightly more hostile conditions. So it takes a little bit longer for them to develop. It may be on into next week before it really starts to do that. Elsewhere, we have a little disturbance in the Bahamas that we'll be watching. I don't really think anything's going to develop out of that. And the National Hurricane Center in their discussion mentions that they don't really expect a lot of development, but there could be some kind of tropical low developing on that as we head through the weekend or so that may meander over into the northern Gulf. They're the slightest chance of a low-end tropical depression. They're only about 10%, not really expecting much from that. But we will take a closer look since it's the one closer to home. You do see that there's a lot of hostile upper-level wind activity here, and that would be the main inhibiting factor for any surface low pressure that tries to develop from thunderstorms in here. It's going to be encountering a lot of wind shear, and that's the main reason why we're not really expecting anything significant to develop out of this. But there could be a tropical low if we get some thunderstorms to cluster together long enough that moves across southern Florida into the Gulf over the weekend into early next week that brings heavy rain conditions, especially over the northern Gulf and up into the coastal areas of the northern Gulf Coast. Eventually, that tropical moisture does expand northward into the inland parts of the southeast, bringing increasing daily chances of scattered showers and thunderstorms. But I want to stress again, we're not expecting a big system here. National Hurricane Center just throwing out a safety net in case there's like a short-lived, weak tropical depression that tries to develop. Not expecting a tropical storm, not expecting a hurricane, anything like that. The central Atlantic is quiet. There's a lot of wind shear activity out there, which will be one thing that kind of holds back this next wave from developing quickly. You do see it out here south of the Cabo Verde Islands, moving off the coast and into the eastern Atlantic. It will continue to do that. You do notice that it has some spin in the mid-level, so it already has a mid-level low pressure to it. There's some upper-level outflows, so it does have some beginning signs that it's trying to organize itself, but I just think it's going to hobble along for the next few days before it gets into more favorable conditions as we head down the road. Now, farther down the road, it looks like even if it impacts the Windward Leeward Islands or so, or the Northern Caribbean Islands, it looks like it's likely going to turn northward in the Atlantic like most of these storms have done so far this season. And historically speaking, once you get out into October, systems rolling off the coast of Africa, when they are able to develop, they usually recurve out into the open Atlantic. We'll be watching for any changes. That's way down the road. There is time for change with the steering current, so don't want to get locked in on any specific idea, but the most likely outcome from what we see now based on model data and also the pattern recognition for this year and then climatology for this time of year, this is likely to be another recurver. But we'll watch it carefully and keep in mind that we're not done with the Atlantic hurricane season after this system. We usually have systems on through mid-October or so before things slow down headed into November. Our next system on the list will be Jerry, then Karen, Lorenzo. We'll see how far we get down the list. I do expect a couple or a few more storms before we shut down the Atlantic hurricane season. We are right here on the bell curve. So we're still historically in a somewhat active time of year. There's actually usually a little small secondary peak that happens right around mid-October, and the long-range model data is suggesting it could get a little more active around that time. But then as we go into late October and early November, things usually sharply decline, but the Atlantic hurricane season lasts through the end of November. So we'll be watching things very carefully in the weeks ahead, but no imminent U.S. threats from a big tropical system anytime in the next 7 days or longer, but we still have to keep an eye out very carefully. And we will do just that here in the days and weeks ahead here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. That's it for your tropical weather update today. Chase Wilson will be here through the weekend. His next scheduled tropical weather update happens tomorrow, Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Central Time. You can see that right here on the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.
Welcome to the newly remodeled Brass Lantern. For over 30 years, we've been serving delicious food to excellent people. Brass Lantern takes pride in authenticity, serving fresh, homemade food to please any member of the family. From mouth-watering to one-of-a-kind steaks served with gourmet marinade.